obviously. But the seamounts in the area tend to be around 70.
Gotcha. So the sampling is what will give us, you know, age of these particular seamounts.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So these look like sheet flows now, Jamie. Not the big boulder in front of us, but
I'm having a geology lesson.
I do learn quite a bit on this watch.
Previously, before we were on the part that I said had interesting darker edges of the flows, we were on a low relief, low bait flow.
Ooh.
I know.
Wow. That was good.
I learned that from Allison.
I like your reaction. I know, like so proud. I'm proud of you. That was awesome.
Oh no, like I mean, I know, like, isn't that cool?
Yeah,
guys?
yeah, I know. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was sweet.
Ooh, there's a purple something just to the right of the lasers.
Kinda in
Well,
that,
halfway between the lasers and the edge of screen.
it's kind of going behind the lip of the
Don't see
rock
it
there.
yet.
It's
Yeah,
hidden
behind
right
the lip.
now.
Right over this rock.
Yeah, the lasers are about to go near it. Yep, there it is.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a sea cucumber.
Looks
I
like
would
one.
say so.
What a nice color.
Yeah, I really like the contrast of that purple against the dark rock and the light sediment.
Zoom in.
Coming in.
I swear, if this one releases stuff too, that's gonna be the legacy of this watch.
I'm gonna creep out. Creeping out.
Interesting term to use.
Losing it there. I'm just
Yep.
sat down.
Coming
on a
wide.
rock.
We're good.
All right, I'll take suggestions for alternatives to creeping out.
Do a quick DVL reset.
I'll say, how about creep wide?
No.
Still
Creep
kind of
wide?
weird.
Scooch sounds less threatening.
But also less official.
But
Then
yeah,
creep?
Well, good point.
A slow creep is a very, common
Geologic term.
Scooch a smidge.
film term.
And so if you're just joining us here on nautiluslive.org, we are exploring an area we are calling Dragon's Back Seamount, south of Palmyra Atoll in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. Thanks for joining us. And again, the rocks that we're seeing in these views are formed by lava flows. We're seeing different morphology of flow, but that's what it is. Looks like possibly a stalked crinoid in the middle there.
Yes, it does.
and a shrimp that really wants to be in the picture.
Might be an urchin right there in the sediment. It's hard to see though.
Or a loose rock.
Yeah, could this be a loose rock?
Could be.
Zoom in, please.
Full zoom.
Yeah, there's a lot of shadow underneath it.
Yeah, it might be a
That's a
little
good one.
rock. We can grab it. Stop ship, please.
Coming
Bridge
wide.
now.
Roger.
Of course, we hold position.
We've got a suggestion for tiptoe out instead of creep out.
I like it. I like it.
Slide
My
out.
feedback would be one too many syllables.
Ah, okay.
It's pretty tight in here. Let's see. Let's see if I can see the arms.
Shouldn't be too much swing on Argus from here.
Can we get the iris on Argus up a little
I
bit?
guess creeping out is 3 syllables. Yep, coming up.
Thank you.
I was just thinking that.
So I'll just say tiptoe out from now on.
Can zoom in on the rock there if you like.
Coming in.
It's definitely got some
All
stuff
right,
on
that's
it.
great. Thank you.
Okay, forward. Zoom in a little. Oh, for God's sake.
Ooh.
Nice.
Might just be
Small,
crust.
isn't it?
I think it might just be manganese crust.
It's useless.
A little meatball.
Oh, it looks like it's got some
What do you
friends
think?
on the bottom. Oh, or is
Can you
that
zoom in on the
oxidation?
bottom any further? Does not look good. No, I don't think it's worth keeping.
Okay.
It
Do
won't
we-
be dateable, I don't think.
Full wide.
Do we think those
Thank you,
kind of tubes on it would be foraminifera?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
It wants to be sampled desperately.
It's been waiting there its whole life.
So you think that was probably mostly manganese crust?
It's mostly manganese and then a highly oxidized base, yeah.
Okay.
So it's probably just the top of the pillow flow and just crust right next door.
Alright, I'm going to start us moving again.
Sure, yep.
Bridge nav. Request we continue tracking our line.
There's another loose rock right next to it.
Does.
Now let's go up a little bit further. Let's see if we find another like cliff like we did on the first dive.
The bubble back over the porch.
Yeah, the cliff from that first dive was intense.
It was, and there was a lot of talus.
I think Kylie agrees with you.
The cliff from the first dive was
Oh.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit too intense.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Talus, is that broken pieces of
Yeah,
flow?
it's basically like a deposit of broken pieces of a cliff at the base of the cliff.
So a little pile.
Yeah.
Oh, thought that rippled patch was a sponge. And a reminder that you can send in your questions to nautiluslive.org, that box below the live feed.
Fish.
We are here to take your questions. So we're keeping our eyes out for rock samples in this area for dating of these formations. We're also looking at the biology. And we're looking for angular rocks because they are more likely pieces that are basalt, correct, and not too crusted?
Yeah.
Because the crust sort of gives it a more rounded appearance.
Yeah, and then a geo like this would have a lot of fossil coal towards the top, so you don't want to accidentally grab a piece of just old manganese encrusted coal.
And so a geode is a seamount that was once above water level, was worn down through erosion, and had a coral reef at some point before it lowered down?
Yeah. So as it moved away from the heat source that fed and built the seamount, it starts to rapidly subside. The lithosphere kind of starts to sink a little bit because it's now colder. And so it starts going underwater. And at the same time, you get wave erosion, kind of cutting it down to a flatter top somewhat. And then also at the same time, you have a reef being built up on the fringes and then built up on the top. And you end up just kind of a reef that's trying to keep up with the sinking.
The other reason we're looking for angular is because the rocks that we really want are part of these flows and pretty much impossible for the ROV to sample without a drill or some way to break up the rock. So we're looking for something that is broken off of these flows. So things that are rounded probably have not broken off. They're probably still sedimented and part of the flow that's just poking up through the sediment. So there's something that's more angular is a telltale sign that it's broken.
You know the phrase water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink? Referring to salty seawater, this is rocks, rocks everywhere, but not a rock to sample.
There you go. Well, we did get one, 5-0.
Yes, we did. We'll find another one.
And the kind of, bits and pieces that you see falling through the water is something that we call marine snow, detritus from the upper levels. And the sediment that we're seeing is likely mostly this marine snow that's fallen down. And things that feed on that detritus are all the filter feeders in this area.
Use,
also,
bubble for gauges.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Also the sea cucumbers that move along the bottom. They're picking up the sediment, extracting out the nutrients, and then expelling what they didn't absorb. Urchins are also doing this. And then the corals, sponges, crinoids rather, are all filter feeding on that detritus. And so this area that we're in right now, we're not seeing as much biology, but a little bit earlier in our watch, we came across a lot of corals towards the peak of the third sort of hump in the Dragon's Back seamount. And are we expecting to see a lot more life on the top of this plateau?
Yeah. Supposedly it should increase as we go further up the water column.
Yeah.
And last time when we actually peeked over that little ridge is when we started to see a lot of life on the last seamount on this dive. So I'm assuming it will be similar for this.
Cool. Thank you. And if you're wondering about fossils in lava rocks, you're not going to find fossils in lava rocks as far as I know, because the formation of those rocks is very high heat. It would typically destroy organic matter that it was coming across. Is that a fair assessment?
For the most part, you can find, though, charcoal and other organic matter in a lava flow. That's how young flows are kind of dated using carbon isotopes. So if it runs over a tree or something, it may be partially preserved and as a charcoal deposit. I've never seen it in the submarine environment, but we also can't sample at the same level we can on land. So I'm sure some corals get caught up in a flow.
Yeah.
But they probably just, dissolve into it.
Yeah, you typically find fossils in sedimentary rocks that are built up by sediment piling on top of an organism over long periods of time. And then that organism, the organic structures get sort of replaced by minerals that are flowing through the rocks, and we get fossils.
Probably your best chance of seeing anything that might have been entrained in a lava flow would be in a what's called an ophiolite.
God bless you.
What is what is an ophiolite?
It is a section of seafloor that has been emplaced on a continent. So through subduction process.
Yeah.
I learned about
As
that.
you're trying to subduct it, it kind of instead gets pushed up
Gets
onto
lifted
land.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you end up with
Oh.
a big section of sea crust.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So you can see these sections of big pillow lavas and seafloor, and you can walk amongst them.
Where do you see that?
There are a few different places around the world. I think some of the classic examples, Oman.
Oman, yeah, is definitely the best sample because it's also in the desert, so it's nice and preserved, and there's not, critters on it hiding up the good rocks. Western Oregon is another
Okay.
example. There's actually a lot of seamounts accreted into Western Oregon, the Coast Range. There's a lot of seamounts and some mantle and ocean crust.
Cool. I didn't know that.
San Francisco has a seamount that's accreted into it.
Pretty much right under the Golden Gate.
Yeah.
That's
So if
really
you walk
cool.
and you see basalts there, that was once under the ocean.
Yeah, I actually have only been to California once outside of the airports, and it was when I was 13. So I need to return to the West Coast at some point.
Definitely. West Coast is best coast.
Hey, let's not go that
Hey.
far. You got a lot of East Coasters on this
Hey.
on this watch.
Where are the sites or the site in Oman?
It's around the coast, but I don't know beyond Oman
Right.
exactly where.
I used to work there years ago. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool spot.
Yeah, I've got to look up some pictures after this.
Where is
Samal.
Oman?
It's part of Arabia.
Yeah, it's in the
Oh,
in the
okay.
Middle East.
So it's right on the coast. It's called of Somalia.
Ah, perfect.
Near the UAE and Qatar.
Hajar Mountains. And yeah, it takes up some of the, it's in the United Arab Emirates as well.
Okay.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
what is the depth difference between the base of the plateau and the top of the plateau that we're looking to explore?
Depth being where we started and kind of called it the bottom?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
okay.
we can start from there.
Yeah, let me work on that a second.
Yeah,
And
Do
I'll
your
get back
thing.
to you when I have it.
your mapping magic.
Do they want the peak or just when we kind of come over this little cliff area?
Well, they were wondering about the difference between the tops of the seamounts and the saddle areas.
Gotcha.
From the couple different peaks, but I figured we could give them from where we are now to, the plateau. You got something for me, Chris?
Yeah. So we were down, we started our dive right at about 3,200 meters.
Okay.
This saddle that we were just over was more just over 2,000 meters. And then we will be climbing up over, if you went over the edge and on the top of the plateau here, you would be under 1,600 meters. But then the plateau itself does have some good peaks to it that look to be about 100 plus more meters on top of that.
Very nice. Thank you. I hope that answers the question for our viewer who sent that in. Let me know. And again, you can send in questions you have about the science of this exploration, the geology that we're looking at, the biology, the goals of this expedition, and also questions about, our roles on board the ship. You can send those into the question box below the feed. I saw that. I actually think that might be my friend Johnny. So if that's you, Johnny, I don't eat at Taco Bell. You do.
So what was the question?
Since Allison brought it up.
No. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Discretion.
Look at this little cave feature.
Under that ledge there?
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You zoom in there a bit.
Coming in.
Nobody home?
Oh, somebody's home.
Yeah.
Little
tiny little-
anemone.
What?
Where?
Yeah, oh, I
it just
see
went
it.
off
Okay.
screen.
Oh, yeah.
Off
There's
screen.
Yes.
also...
Bottom left corner.
There you go.
Okay, come
See ya.
on.
There it is.
Oh, right in the,
And there it
the
goes.
crevice.
Yeah, right at the very edge of the left part of the curved tip. It was
Yep,
a little pale
exactly.
pink anemone.
Okay, I'm with you. I didn't miss it. I was feeling left out for a second.
More rock questions. Now, I think I know the answer to this one, but lava rocks are typically denser than continental rocks. Is that correct?
Correct. Higher concentrations of iron and magnesium.
Cool. Yeah, we do. I do a demonstration at work where I have pieces of foam that I talk about continental rocks with, and then pieces of silicone mat that I talk about oceanic crust, and then I talk about the interactions, the plate interactions with those. So I smash the foam together to make mountains.
Ah, cool.
And I have the silicone drop below to subduct and all that good stuff. Well, generally I have the kids do it. But
You have some nice marine demonstrations that you do.
yeah, this was actually one that I put together for, we had an IMAX movie at the museum about national parks. And so
Ken Burns?
Uh,
The 50th anniversary one?
yes,
I had to watch that in my
Yeah.
environmental class. It
I
was
really
good.
like that one.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
And so we had a whole suite of tabletop activities. Did one with those crust demonstrations, and then also about the law of superposition and fossils. And then I'm blanking on what the last one was, but I'm not the only one that did that. We actually had our team of over 200 volunteers a week who actually came in and daily did those activities with people on the museum floor.
That's great.
We've got some folks wondering what the angle of repose of this area is.
Ooh, we've got multi-viewers.
Thanks for tuning back in.
Yeah.
Thanks for remembering our banter.
My
Loyal.
vote is for about 45 degrees. That was the wet sand angle of repose. Even though this is not sand, it's more marine snow, mucus, poop, old cells, etc.
Makes you just want to dive right in.
Let's make a marine snow angel.
Are we still talking about Taco Bell?
Ew. Ew. And I believe a lot of this sediment, I don't know how much of it, but some of this sediment too is also formed by the foraminifera that we were talking about. the single-celled organisms that sort of create a calcium shell around them. And then when they die, their shells kind of become the sediment as well.
Is that a loose rock?
Looks like
That's
it.
what I was gonna.
Yeah, okay, Steve.
I'm
That
just
does look
scared
like a
now.
loose rock, yes.
Bit large.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little too large.
It's a pile up here. Or no, maybe not. Never mind. Any of this look promising?
Not.
Oh, maybe this
These
area.
big rocks up to the right.
Here,
Ooh.
maybe zoom in on
Yeah.
that patch right in the center.
Go ahead, video.
Coming in. Tiptoe.
Yep. Might be a couple loose ones in there.
Okay.
That one, that softball size that's going out of the screen right now.
wanna
and
stop
that
the
bottom
ship?
right.
Right
Bridge
there,
nav.
but I don't know if that's loose.
Request we hold position.
Coming wide.
We're probably going to swing right past this here, but
Yeah, I can, I mean, even taking a step back, we're still going to swing a little bit.
yeah. Want to go try and get one?
Yeah, let's go grab one.
Turn Argus's heading,
To
Kylie, to
match
see if you can keep me in the frame.
Yeah, no problem.
Try and go for it.
I can do that.
What about the one that's dead center now?
Yeah, if you can grab that one.
That's a bit big too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bridge now.
Well, that's too big to do anything with, right?
That one definitely is.
20 meters step, bearing 120.
Just to try it.
When your eyes are bigger than your sample box.
What about
So
right
the
behind
one
it?
right behind it, or
Oh, the one falling down?
Oh,
that one's a little too small.
the one
What about this
sitting
one?
nicely above?
Still perched
That's
above
pretty
it.
big, isn't it?
What about the oval-shaped one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
That
But
looks
yeah,
nice.
that one I like. Yeah.
Stretch.
Yes.
That's a lovely looking rock so far.
It's angular.
Okay, quick look.
Do we know where we're going to put it?
Okay, guys, just full wide. I'm going to hold
Yep.
on to it and catch up with the
Nav,
ship
can
here.
you just strap a
Sounds good.
target here?
Pull wide.
It's
Yes, I can.
051.
051.
Kind of in a little pocket. I don't want to get dragged.
I'll take it for a ride.
Okay, you want me to go back to the heading we like?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. 103.
I just want to
Another-
get out of that little nook.
Yeah.
Iridogorgia coral.
The boulder that keeps on giving. All the life.
Looked like there might have been a small
Okay.
black
We're
coral
only
on
around
that rock
300,
too.
right?
Well, it's just, it says 10. Well, now it says 305. It said 103 a second ago.
This is what I
305.
imagine following an asteroid through space is like.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're about studied up on our position. We're coming back a little bit.
Okay.
Check the swing.
If I had any talent, I'd sing Brave New World from Aladdin.
You have many talents, Kevin.
Singing is not one of them. Neither is talking.
So whenever Herc gets situated, we have an option to put it in forward biobox B, which already has one rock, or we could put it in the starboard biobox F, which has nothing in it yet. Do you have a preference?
I do not. I mean, it's pretty clear, so we could stack it if it fits.
Yeah, I don't care either.
I don't know what this other rock looks like. Let me see what the notes say. See how easy it would be to distinguish. Basalt pillow.
I think it would be, that one will probably be a lot more oxidated. There'll be orange spots on that one. This
Okay.
one's pretty clear and black and angular.
We can put it in forward biobox B then, whenever you're ready.
And I think forward biobox A has a floaty sponge
Yeah.
now, so you gotta be careful. The one we
Well-
got on the first watch, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Does-
which A or B? Which one is
A.
starboard?
A is port, B is starboard.
Okay.
A has a sponge and a coral in it.
Yeah.
B has a rock.
And these are basalts, which are volcanic rocks. That's what we're collecting here. Looking for pieces that have broken off, and we found one.
We found 2 this watch.
That's true.
On this watch.
All right. Going forward.
Forward, starboard, please.
Did we want to do like a spinning?
Just open slowly because of the floaty
Yeah.
samples.
Okay, roger that. Ready when you are.
There. Okay, go ahead. Just open it a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Has
Okay,
a
try
nice
that.
distinguishing brown spot for us.
A little bit more.
Let's try it out.
Wow.
Oh!
Will it
Oh
close?
no.
Oh, open it again. Don't,
Opening
don't-
it.
There you
There we go.
And there's our friend still sitting at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Well done.
Awesome, good
Well
job.
done.
Alright.
Nice work.
Nice
Thank you,
teamwork.
thank you.
That's awesome.
All right. Send us on our way again.
go. Roger.
Bridge now. Quest, we continue tracking our line. Thank you.
Now this dive that we're currently on is focused on geology and biology of these areas, but there have been previous dives by Nautilus on shipwrecks, and later this season, I think actually the next cruise
Yeah.
is the Samoan Clipper cruise, which will be a search for a downed clipper, which is an airplane that went down in 1938. So that should be a pretty interesting cruise. So we've still got lots of geology and biology to look for in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. But a reminder that if you go to nautiluslive.org and check out the expedition tab, you can see what's taken place earlier in this season and also the many expeditions to come this 2019 field season.
I just read the plan for that expedition today.
did?
Getting excited.
Yeah, should be really cool.
Who in here is staying on board for that leg?
I am. Steve.
Not me.
I am.
Steve,
I
Mike,
am as well.
Allison?
I am not.
Oh.
Me either.
You are according to my watch schedule.
I wish I was. Please let me stay.
I accidentally put Jamie on the watch schedule for the next cruise.
Lifuna accidentally put me on too.
Are you on, Chris?
I am on.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I will be watching from the comfort of my home.
Let me know if there's any rocks in the plane.
We will have to accept some other team members onto
This
watch.
Well, if we're on, if we're even on this
oh,
watch.
That's true. What if we get split up? I know. I'm pretty sure I'm staying on 4 to 8.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I can leave you in suspense, or I could tell you.
I was gonna say we have our head of things over here.
I'd love to know.
I know somebody with the answers. No, you're staying. You stay together.
Works for me.
Cool.
And we're diving with just Argus, right?
We are going to start with Argus only, using side scan.
So cool.
We're going to put a fin on Argus.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
It's a stabilizing fin. So if we tow just with Argus, then you know, it's not necessarily an entirely stable platform. And with the side scan, we want it Argus to be as steady as possible. So we fabricated a fin to mount.
And we tested that out during the shakedown.
Cruise, yeah, before the season started.
Cool.
Yeah, so just adds a little bit of stability.
And did I see something about putting the camera back on? Does that mean we're taking the camera off Argus, or no?
We shouldn't have to take the camera off.
Okay,
no.
great.
So what you would be doing the scanning first, and then if you come across something that looks like what you would want to dive on, that's when you would bring Hercules down?
That's exactly right. So with the side scan, we'll be able to cover more ground than we would by just looking with the cameras on the vehicles. So we'll use Argus and probably tow the side scan about 20 meters off the seafloor. And then if we find a target of interest in that side scan data, then we'll recover Argus, hook Hercules back up, and then go dive on that target.
That's awesome, and a really good example of how the team makes these vehicles work for each specific cruise objective, which is really awesome.
Is side scan a sonar system?
It is.
So is it beneficial to have Argus as a side scan sonar platform because it'll be a higher resolution than what the Kongsberg can do from the ship?
It's it's a pretty deep site, so we think it's probably in about 3,000 meters water depth, and so the size of the target that we're looking for wouldn't be picked up with the resolution of our multi-beam system at that depth.
I see. So similar to what the ASV was doing from the surface.
In Thunder Bay?
No, I was going to say Thunder Bay. I was going to say last year when we were doing the paleo shorelines.
Channel Islands, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, does the ASV only work to a certain depth?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can only map to a certain depth.
Okay.
So I want to say it's about 500 meters, but I'd have to.
Wow.
I'd have to look
Yeah, it
that
was
up.
very shallow in Channel Islands.
Yeah.
Forgot that part of it.
I was already excited
Can we
about
get a
the
zoom
Samoan
on
Clipper
that
cruise.
Crinoid?
Now I'm
Yeah,
really excited.
stand by one here. Okay, go ahead.
Coming in.
As we were zooming in, I saw a little yellow unstopped crinoid on a rock too.
Oh, nice.
Could we zoom out? I think I saw a sponge in the same vicinity as well.
Yep, come wide.
Full wide.
Don't remember exactly where. It was pretty small. Somewhere to the left of the crinoid. We'll see another.
Now, is this area broken up, or is it another area where the sediment is just sort of settling in between and making it look broken up?
I think it's the latter. It looks kind of like you get like a rumbly sheet flow sometimes.
Rumbly. I like that.
Or a hackly sheet flow. These aren't really hackles though.
Is that with G's? Haggles?
hackle, like a cat will hackle.
Ah,
So HACKLE.
got it.
Zoom in there.
Oh, I see the tiny yellow crinoid to the right.
Full zoom.
It's so tiny.
I just got a glimpse.
Scooching out.
Some nice shots of these crinoids. Scooching. That's a good
I've
one.
told.
Yeah.
Is that what Chris said?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That's when I was told it wasn't good enough.
Can you two have to make up because you're going to be on watch together again?
We're all on the same team.
I'm trying it out. I'm trying it out.
Same watch.
Try on for size.
See a brittle star at the base of that
Scooching in.
crinoid.
And scooch it back out.
I think that was an active request. Oh wait, no, you're not in the
really-
pilot seat
no, I
right
just-
now.
I just really wanted to say it out loud.
Nice details. Coming wide.
Yeah, that was a good shot.
Doesn't like me. Oh.
If and when you're able, Chris, could we get a zoom out on the high pack to see where the plateau is?
Yes, we could.
We're getting there.
We're on our way. We'll just about make it to this waypoint 5 by the end of our watch.
Mhm.
And then next watch we'll be able to bring us there, and then bring us up to, you can kind of see with the contours where waypoint 5.1 is.
Yeah.
Is kind of that edge where the slope steadies out.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you very much.
Of course.
And you can still write in your questions to that little white rectangle below the live feed on nautiluslive.org. Currently, we are exploring what we're calling Dragon's Back Seamount off of Palmyra Atoll in the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. We've made our way up a few different peaks of this Dragon's Back Seamount, and we're heading up towards the plateau at the top. And this flattened area, is the entire seamount what we refer to as a guyot, or just where the plateau is?
I believe the entire seamount.
Cool.
And this guyot, it might not even, well, I think it is a guyot, but it does have some topography. It's not completely flat, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And it might just be some post-erosional volcanism or something like that, like we had on the other guyots.
Yeah. So that would be after it had flattened out, maybe some more eruption
Yeah.
took place.
Something like that.
Cool.
Or it is theoretically, I think, possible it never reached the surface and it just had a reef built up that was kind of flat. But I need to double check that. Don't quote me on that. Everyone at home.
And if you're wondering about what we're looking at in the control van, our ROV pilots and navigator in the front row, they've got big screens in front of them. And our scientists in the back row also have some really big, nice screens showing them the video. And I have my own little personal screen. And Steve's got a whole bunch of screens and buttons. And for this video, what is the resolution being captured versus the resolution being streamed? Is there difference there?
We are recording 1920 by 1080 HD files for Argus and Hercules. We also have proxy files of 2 sizes, which are lower resolution. And I think what's being streamed, I'm not 100% positive.
I think it's 720.
I think that's, yep.
Yep.
It's compressed.
Sounds right.
Yep.
So compressed, but still impressive.
And then so the other cameras that we switch to sometimes that you might see on the quad, like Bubble Cam, Herc Bubble. That's an SD camera, standard definition, as well as a few of the other ones you see on the ROVs. There's only one HD camera on each of the ROVs. When we do, if you ever see the aft cam off the back of the ship or the port cam, those are HD 1920 by 1080 as well. Same with cam Psi, the one that shows you inside our control van.
And if you look at quad view right now, no people are visible, but the screen, oh, there's Kylie's fingers. But these screens are visible. You can see sort of the large setup that our team is working with to ensure the safety and smooth piloting of these vehicles.
Oh, what do we have here?
One of those.
Zoom in there quick.
Coming in.
Is that a pelagic sea cucumber?
Looks like it.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Penny Agony, but I'm not, because it doesn't have as big of a skirt as the
Yeah.
other ones.
It's also more transparent.
Scooching
And
out.
it has quite a bit of stuff in its digestive tract.
It's been busy.
It's a growing boy.
I'm gonna creep in here. Oh, coming out.
Okay, full wide.
Come
Big
on.
rocks up ahead there, Kylie.
Yep. Good eye.
It actually looks like a big mass wasting boulder. I don't think that's a lava flow. It's
I wanna.
it's got something on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's cool.
Looked like that was an encrusting sponge next to the Iridogorgia.
Do you think it was flat or rounded? I thought it looked fairly 3D.
The sponge?
Next to the Iridogorgia, yeah.
I only saw it for a quick second. It looked like it was hugging the rock from my view.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Only saw it for a moment.
Looks like we're getting back onto some massive lava flows.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Argus view is very, very cool right now. So if you're not checking out Argus view or the quad view, take a look. A little mound here.
It's some coral on
Off
the
the
middle
left.
right. Or maybe that's not coral. But some
That looks
critter.
like a stalked crinoid.
Yeah.
Again, we're seeing rock. That's the dark material. It's a lava flow. And then we're seeing the marine snow that's built up a sediment on top of that. That's the lighter material. And the current flow is what's creating the ripples. But there's also sometimes you can see tracks that kind of go, that don't look like they're in line with any of the ripples, and that would likely be from things like sea cucumbers and urchins that are moving across the bottom and feeding on that detritus. Hey, shrimp.
Zoom in.
It picked up the pace.
It's really,
All right, full wide.
it's really
Full wide.
fun.
Got a sea star to the left there.
Oh yeah.
And to everyone joining us on nautiluslive.org, we've got a few more hours left of this dive here off of Palmyra Atoll on what we're calling Dragon's Back Seamount. Been seeing lots of different kinds of life, corals, sponges, crinoids. On the screen right now, it looks like we've got another sea cucumber.
Zoom in.
Yes. No official lives. Nope. Just the recording.
Coming in a bit tighter.
It's very round.
Yes.
Rotund.
Ooh. I don't know. It looked like it was changing color for a second there
Yeah.
with the lighting.
Scooching out. That was me playing with the blacks on the
After
monitor.
I made my exclamation sound, I was like, oh, that was probably Steve.
He looks like he has inspiration to swim. Like,
Scooching out.
Yep. There should be probably something coming out the back soon, and you'll take lift off. There we
Oh.
go.
yay!
Yep. There you go. Ooh, we get to see the bottom. Doing a flip. Oh, it's got
Do you want to lose the
clinger.
lasers
Yeah.
coming out?
I'm so sorry. It's beautiful. Look at those tube feet at the front. Those are what are grabbing the sediment and putting it into its digestive tract. It's where it starts.
Yep, it's good. Solid safe.
Thank you. Is that a tiny sea cucumber on this?
I see what you're talking about. I don't know what that is.
Okay, we gotta go.
What if it was a snail?
That's why I get excited about these tiny things, but
Mhm.
haven't seen one yet.
Slow the ship down to 0.2.
Roger that. Bridge nav. Request we decrease speed to 0.2 knots.
Actually, just stop them. Actually, maybe we'll step. It's getting pretty steep.
Belay that bridge. Could we hold position?
Beautiful lava flows.
Thank you.
Do you want me
Oh,
to come
That's
up
cool.
anymore?
These layers here.
gorgeous.
It's
Wow, look at
just-
Argus right now.
Kind of.
Wow. Indeed getting steep.
Couple corals there.
We've got a former SCF, Sarah Burgess, writing in and saying hello.
Hey,
Saying
Sarah.
hello to Allison.
Hello.
Thanks for watching and writing in.
Ship still seems to be moving a little bit.
It's a fish.
Take
Tiny
a
little guy in the middle.
step back.
We're okay here. We're coming over to the ridge here.
Roger that. Do you want me to move again at point 2?
Yep, sure.
Alrighty. Bridge nav. Request we continue tracking our line, but decrease speed to 0.2 knots. Thank you.
And the team that you're listening to on this suite of dives on this expedition, we all got on board either well, not everyone, some people are on earlier, but this cohort specifically came together around the 22nd or 23rd of June. And we've been hanging out, exploring together since then. Both feels like yesterday and forever ago. Also got a question about some nautical terms, flotsam and jetsam. I know that flotsam and jetsam as a term is often casually used as just sort of debris, but I believe there is a distinction, and anybody can chime in if I get it wrong here, but is flotsam something that can be claimed that do you want to take this one?
Ready to tee up.
Well, yeah, maybe. I feel like if I get this wrong, this is going to be kind of bad.
You want me to try it first, and then you can tell me if
Is
I'm
this
right?
Coast Guard related? CGA related?
It's not specifically.
with-
It's just a nautical term that you use for debris. But no, go ahead, Alex.
I was thinking one of them has to do with who can claim ownership of the debris, right? Is that correct?
Kind of. I mean, I guess it depends on the way you're using the terms, but the way we've used them typically is jetsam is something that has been jettisoned,
So like,
while flotsam could just be anything floating per se.
got it. So jetsam is something someone got rid of versus
Yeah.
something that may have just been lost.
Yeah. So if you, I mean, I guess that opens up a lot of questions.
That's
but
kind of
yeah,
what I
that's
was
the basic
thinking.
definition.
It was like, if it was something someone lost versus something that was just sort of thrown away.
Either way, usually they're things that you'd prefer not to have in the water.
Yeah. Debris.
And things you want to avoid hitting with your boat. So the idiosyncrasies in that case don't matter a whole lot, but
Got it.
I think that's the best I can do right now.
So you don't want to
Got
hit
it.
the flotsam or the jetsam.
Typically not. especially if it's larger debris. You see some big stuff sometimes out in the middle of the ocean. Was off of